In this week's races, we've got oval racing as a Mazda races a Bugatti Chiron. We get punted in race B at turn 1, and in race C, the chicane is very deadly, so do be careful. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Gran Turismo weekly race guide here in 2023. Week 27, and we revisit an old friend, if you haven't noticed in the background. Yes, we're at Special Stage Route X for Race A with some hand-picked cars. What exactly are we doing? Well, we're racing one lap. Yes, indeed, one lap. It's a rolling start on Sports Soft tyres and Times 1 fuel and tyre wear. They've been hand-picked, they've been hand-tuned. You can't do anything with them. You pick which car you want and you go for it. Okay. Now, some of you will not like this race, so if you don't like this race, there are some timestamps there for you to skip over race A and head towards B and C for some race car action. However, we're sticking with race A, and one thing to note, make sure your overtake button is mapped to whichever device you are using. Let's jump to the race and let's have a look exactly what happened, as some cars are a little bit stronger than some others. Here we are then at the start, and the Mazda RX-7 Spirit R-Type A FD02 seems to be the best car, to be honest with you, but there are some cars that can compete with it. Now, here we go with the start. Rolling stars. So just make sure you stay with the pack, because if you lose it, you've lost the race. You need the slipstream, trust me. As we catch up to Gianni. Now, that AMG used to be the quickest car, if you remember, on this combo, because that was what was used last time. As was the Chiron. The Chiron was used last time, but this Mazda is new. And you may have noticed the sound. Yes, the sound is that 787B engine, so it has been engine swapped as well. And you can see the speed we're getting up to here already, 250 miles an hour. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to show you the entire race. We are going to skip parts here because it does get very much same and the same over and over again. As we speed up a little bit there, and just notice here, Dams is out the slipstream, then loses out on some of that speed. Inferno in that NSX as well. Apparently, that's one to watch out for, Inferno said. But in this race, not so much. It does have good top end, though, that NSX, and we're back in the slipstream. So if you lose it, you do lose out very quickly. As you notice there, Eiffelman just losing out as well. As we continue towards turn number 1 on the oval then, and we've got the other Mazda that is in this. It's a Mia car, I think, as we overtake it, actually. We'll try and get past as we head towards shelter. Yeah, and I'm a Mia. There we go. You can see that there. Don't pick that one. Pick this one that we're in now. So we're going to work with Shelty then in this Mazda. And the two cars up ahead are also Mazda. So we've advanced a bit further on. Nothing really happened on the corner. Just be careful when bump drafting on the corner, because if you do bump draft someone, it may cause an issue if there's any netcode problems. So you can see I'm working with Shelty here. We're trying to get closer. And Timmy as well up ahead. So shout out to you as well. There on the left-hand side says 2JZ, but it doesn't have one of them. It's got a 787B engine, which is a Wankel engine as far as I'm aware. Anyway, we're going to go on by, but they change gear as well, and they really lose out then big style. So make sure you're at the top end of the rev range there. And you can see I have used a quarter of the nitrous as we advance towards turn 2, the final corner on the circuit. Now, it's all about when you use nitrous. So I thought, okay, I'm going to use it here at the start of the corner. I hit the barrier, which was not the greatest thing, really. I should have waited till I was on the corner. And I was hoping, really, to try and get a run on Shelty. Doesn't quite work out. Shelty defends that outside line. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go on the inside line, see if that will work. You notice nitrous going down very quickly. It's one of those moments. Too soon, Junior. Yeah, it's too soon for me. Notice I'm losing out here. I've dropped down to P4 now. We've got Srockin, who's come into play from absolutely nowhere, to be honest with you. But notice the top 4 cars here. Timmy's lost out on the nitrous as well. As we go towards the line then, who's going to get P3? Oh, Timmy got it just there from myself. Shelty won there. You can see my smile on the face. It's actually quite an enjoyable race, to be honest with you. I do give it a try as well. No DR or SR updates there, so it's just a bit of fun. Just a bit of fun that you can have, which is all good. Now, race B, where we're at Trial Mountain in reverse in Group 3, and I chose the Supra. Weirdly, I was the only one to choose the Supra, and I think it is quite a good car here, to be honest with you, with that back straight. What we're doing here, well, we're doing 4 laps. It's a rolling start, and we're on the racing medium tyres with Times 1 fuel and tyre wear. Now, this track can be quite risky. There's some places where the car will spin, and there's some places where you will hit the barriers or stone walls quite hard. Let's jump to the race then. Let's have a look exactly what happens, and I'll give you a lap guide straight after it. Here we are then at the start of the next one. I'll say the only one in the Supra. Mixture of cars, which is good to see. It really is. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. We're on our journey to 40k, and if you enjoy the content, it'll come up in your subscription list, which makes it easier to find. Right, let's head towards turn 1, where the brake marker for this one is not so easy to find. However, we're going to try and go for the move on the Huracan here as it goes defensive. We go around the outside here, everyone looking to slow up, but we get plowed into from behind there, unfortunately. But we come back on circuit, safe and sound, as we go through here. And the penalty system works. Weirdly, oddly, I can't quite believe I did see that penalty. 3-second penalty there for the Porsche for hitting me. Quite a harsh penalty in the grand scheme of it, but it will put them behind. And when you see where the penalty line is, oh, yeah. Now, this corner, very dangerous corner, so do be careful on that corner. You see the AMG behind me in the rear view there, just going to Narnia then. So through the left we go. Still in the queue of cars here as we continue on out of here. And I was really quite confident, actually. I do a little bit of practice the day before just to get the practice lap, the guide lap in there, so I can at least tell you how to do it. All a little bit of contact between the two Porsches. Going to go for the cut back there. We actually overtook another Porsche there who has gone off. But we're going to go down the inside here. Steven goes towards that right side, takes the penalty. Good sportsmanship stuff there. We're going to have a drag race with the other one then as we head up towards the right-hander and in towards the braking zone. We go on that inside line and we do get it stopped. Now, I love this corner and I can properly nail it. As you see there, we absolutely nail it. Get on the inside of Dav then in that Huracan and we take that position as well. Look at this. Beautiful move. I'll show you how you do that corner a little bit later on. In towards this sharp left-hander then. Very easy to get this one wrong. Jammy there, part of TCR. Shout out to all the TCR guys racing again this week. Awesome to see as we go into the right-hander. And Jammy's going to keep that position. So defending on the right definitely works out very nicely there. Now we're going to be alongside Jammy here as we get a good acceleration out of that corner. Jammy gives some room there as TCR do as we go through the left and then the right. Chuck it in. We're up to P9. Happy days indeed. Now let's catch up to Hodgson. Also part of TCR. We've got Shelty there as well. Through the right-hander we go. Going to beat it out of here very quickly. Hodgson always in that McLaren 650S. He loves that thing. He really does. As we go into the right-hander. He also streams or does videos, content on YouTube, shall I say, as we go into the right. So you check out Hodgson on YouTube as we go through the right-hander. Now, Hodgson just cut that right a little bit too much. It's about to get a penalty. There you go. And we're going to have a run on Hodgson as well as we head towards turn 1. Now, I do know where to brake here as we head into this braking zone, and I will explain it shortly, but it's very easy to get this one wrong. But we get it right here. Hodgson looking around the outside here. We're on the inside, though, so this is going to be our corner. And through there we go. Continue on out. A little bit of a wiggle from the rear end. Hodgson just gets it a bit wrong there as well as we continue on in the race then. So we catch up to Chelsea. Looking at the inside of Chelsea. Oh, I have to lift off just to avoid Chelsea there as we then head in towards this left, this corner. Very tricky to get right. I've got to be honest, very tricky. So we're going to go for the run on Shelty then. Through we go, in towards the braking zone we go. We send it. We hit that apex nicely. Give room for Shelty on the exit. But once again, as we saw earlier on in the race, being on the outside here does not work out. Shelty is looking to keep that position. Look how far Shelty is. I'm just staying on that inside line. So that inside line really is the fastest line. You've seen that here now multiple times in this video. So through the left we go and then into the right. Now this Supra is so strong in that 5th gear, and that's what we're going to abuse here now as we get into Shelty's slipstream. Look at the speed difference now between this and that Beetle as we head towards that right-hand side. Going to head towards the braking zone then, looking to stop in the same place once again. In we go. And we do get it stopped. I think there's a bit of contact there between two people ahead, Dung Beetle and Greenland. In towards the right we go, and once again this Supra's going to get a bit of a wiggle on. Unfortunately, I catch it, but I hit the wall there. Shelty's just seen something very stupid of me doing and just takes advantage of it. Well done, Shelty, as we go into the right-hander. Now, I said this corner was dangerous, and it's because of this dip here completely. It's where traction, where you accelerate, and it just causes the car to oversteer there. Shelty suffered from that. Dung Beetle with a 2-second penalty. I think that's from the contact as well. So the penalty system playing a big part here at the moment. So we obviously take that position through the last corner. We go, and Greenland's just off there, hits the barrier. Big style meets barrier, and we're going to head towards the line, finishing in 5th place. I quite like this race, to be honest with you. I really like the track. Very hard track to get right. Very hard track to get right. And if you have noticed, by the way, I've lost my A+ because I've beat the meta. And if you haven't seen that, I'll link it at the end of this video for you to check out. Right, now let's have a look at the lap guide then. To head towards turn 1, you've got the lamppost or this grandstand there on the left, which you're going to use in time trial, or the billboard in the race. You're braking just after the stand starts on the left-hand side as it leaves your screen. Try and get as close to the billboard as you can, or where that guy is just in front of the billboard. That is your brake marker in the race, okay? As you come into here, slow the car down nicely. You want to stick as far left as possible, okay? Notice how far left I am here, and then turn right now. You want to get a good run out of here. Just be careful of traction. Again, you saw the wiggle there as I exit that corner. A few cars going to suffer with that traction as we head up towards this right-hander. On the left-hand side, the barrier goes from a concrete barrier to a yellow-type barrier, which I'm assuming is tyres. Essentially, as that leaves the edge of your screen, so just after it leaves the edge of your screen on the left-hand side, that is when you're going to brake for this corner. Now, with this corner, it's a bit tricky, okay, because of the exit. So just take it nice and easy. As you go into here, it's a bit later in Apex than you realize. Be careful on throttle and straighten the steering as quick as you can. Otherwise, you will suffer some oversteer. Heading towards this left-hander then, you've got the billboard in the race, which you can use, try and get as close to that as possible. But I would advise using that rock on the left-hand side, as that leaves the edge of your screen, okay? Really nice marker, this one, because it's on the left. You're doing a left-hander. Your eyesight should be looking towards the exit of the corner already. Now, again, a later apex if you can, because you want to straighten this corner up and just boot it out. If you turn in too early, you're going to hit the curb on the right-hand side, okay? Heading down the hill then, you've got two markers here. You've got where the concrete goes, or the concrete barrier, which has nothing on, where it goes to Texaco. You could start to use that. That's already left your screen when you start braking. Or on the right side, which is what I was using, as that yellow line starts to open up, okay? And you really want a wide line into this corner. Notice how late I'm braking then. In we go, and I'm trying to keep it tight. That rock there, it's huge, okay? It's really huge. That is a really good accelerating marker, okay? So as you see that, start to go on the power. Don't go full power, you will get some oversteer. Notice I'm not full power till near the exit there, then I'm full power. Obviously, the more aggressive you go, the quicker you can do the straight, but the more risk you have of power oversteer on exit. As you head towards this right-hander, you can have used the light on the left-hand side, but I was actually using that on the right-hand side. It's like a square box next to the pillars of the tunnel. It's a nice square box, actually. So as that leaves the edge of your screen, hit the brakes and turn in, okay? And you're going to want to turn in earlier than you realize for this corner, because it just sort of opens up and pushes you wide. Notice how early I turned in. It pushes you out wide. Get straight up towards that right-hand side, and you're looking for that big rock on the right-hand side. That is your next brake marker, okay, for the left-hander. You actually want to take a wide line in for this. You really want to get over to the right as quick as possible because you want to straight line it through this left-hander. So you can see I'm edging over to the right. I'm about to start hitting the brakes there. I'm trying to turn in as quick as possible. And what I'm using for an accelerating marker here is that yellow sign there. It's such a good marker to use, an accelerating marker. When you see that, because you can't really see the exit, you're like, oh, okay, I can actually go here and I should make it. And look, I make it. Happy days indeed. Now, as we head towards this left, there's a really prominent rock there. In the race, of course, it's got a photographer on. Why wouldn't it have a photographer on? But in time trial, I'm not sure they're there, but the rock is still there. The rock doesn't move an inch. So I'm braking just before that rock gets towards the edge of my screen. You can see I'm just going on the brakes here. Now, third gear, I stay in for the Supro, just for the traction, stability there. Second gear, you will suffer a bit of power oversteer. Now, this corner, such a tricky corner to get right, okay? So I'm using the edge of the tunnel on the right-hand side. As that hits the edge of my screen, that's when I'm going to brake and turn in. I really want to turn in quite early here. You want to turn in earlier than you realize, because otherwise you'll just understeer to the outside of the corner. So, turn in. Notice I'm trying to turn in, and I don't even turn in as good as I could, but I do bring it back, fortunately. Now, you've got a little bit of a notice board on the right-hand side there. That's your accelerating marker. Yes, we've got another one here. We've got a quick few of these. When you see that start to accelerate, the corner opens up, so you should be able to go towards the exit, and it does mean you can get a good run through this last little bit. So this is flat out, this right. Now, this left-hander here, you can lift a little bit. I lift here, and you want to lift a little bit for this one as well, otherwise you're going to understeer to the barrier that we saw in the race. Just be careful on those fast bits. You want to turn in earlier than you realize for both of them. But that is going to be it in terms of this one. Let's jump to race C then, where we're at Yamagiwa in reverse. Now, we have a different camera for this one because I didn't have enough storage for the replay to be saved, unfortunately. What are we doing here? Well, you can see some Group 4 cars in the background, and we're also doing 10 laps here. It's a rolling start. We're on the racing medium tyre with a star, which does mean you have to pit, but you don't have to change tyres necessarily. Times 1 fuel and times 3 tyre wear. Now, of course, I went with the Ferrari because what else would I go with in terms of this race? Group 4 is my go-to car. Let's jump to the race. Let's have a look exactly what happens, and I'll also give you that lovely lap guide. Right, okay, here we are at the start then. I'm in the Ferrari, as I said. A couple other people chose the Ferrari. Got Shelty in the Scirocco. We'll see how that goes as we go through this race. So, we kick off with a rolling start. Not too bad for everybody, so happy days on that front. We are catching it Sylvia very quickly then, the Red Bull Sylvia. I'm actually going to look down the inside of the Sylvia then. In towards turn 1 we go. We do get the job done then. Up into P12 already. Happy days indeed. I actually was worried I was going to understeer into them there. They were already behind me before I realized. Right, out we go and towards this kink. This is a very dangerous kink, but if you nail it, you can absolutely fly through it, and that's what we're going to do here. We get a good run on Peloton there around the outside. There's Hodgson, and we got Taurus GTR as well in that Super. I'm going to look down the inside of Hodgson, and in towards the braking zone we go. Oh, keeping it tight. Just have to brake a bit more there just to avoid hitting Hodgson. Then through we go. And that 650S could keep the position then. Is it going to be... It's going to be tight, actually, as we head down towards the chicane then. Very dangerous to get in the chicane. This whole track is actually dangerous. As we head down into the right-hander then, side by side with Hodgson. Oh, somebody's off there. Who is that? I did not see who that was. Through the right we go then. And Hodgson gets that position. Well played, Hodgson. Really good defense as we continue on up the hill then towards the fast right-hander. We've got a bit of a run in that slipstream then. Looking down the inside of the 650S. In towards the slight braking zone that we have here. Keeping it to the curb then. Side-by-side action. Through we go. Oh, it's going to be tight on exit then. Just give enough room there. And we are ahead of Hodgson there. Brilliant racing there with you, Hodgson. Really good stuff as we advance to lap 2 then. Catch up to the next pack then. We've got a couple of Supras. I was very surprised the Supra was the dominant car at Laguna Seca. I've got to be honest. That was a big surprise to me. But hey, maybe it's good now. I'm not too sure. Oh, contact there between Castelletti and Taurus then as we head down the hill. Only a little bit of contact. Nothing major there. No dirty driving there. It's just unfortunate that it happened. As we go into here then, they sort themselves out, although Castelletti just gets it slightly wrong into the chicane. Going to try and beat it out of here quick as we can. Unfortunately, I tried to get to the right and I couldn't get to the right in time, so he just gets a nice bump draft. You're welcome, Mr. Spaniard. You are very welcome indeed for that little bit of a bump draft. As we head into the fast right then, in we go. We've got somebody out wide there. That's Scup 666. That's the Beast number. What are you doing there? It's the Beast. Is it Mr. Beast? Is Mr. Beast Swiss now? I don't know. Right, okay, let's head over the top of the hill here, over the crest, and down we go then, still in this battle. So this is slowing us up quite a bit now as we go into the left. Through we go then towards the final corner. And we did talk about having to pit, okay? So this is where, if you're looking to pit, because you have to pit at some point in this race, it's a mandatory pit stop, maybe you pit now. And that's what I'm going to do here. I noticed the fighting. It's going to cost me a lot of time here so I come into the pits. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm not going to change my tyres. Now, we're going to see if that is a bad decision later on in this race at ×3 tyre wear. And come out in completely clean air then. Happy days indeed. A couple other people behind me did the same thing as we go through turn number 1. Let's advance to lap 4 then, where we catch up to Jamie, a part of TCR. Hello to you again. Through the right we go. We get an absolutely epic run out of there. Speed Hunters. That's what we're looking for. Speed. A bit like Jeremy Clarkson. I believe in speed and power. Right, okay. We're going to look for the same move we did on Hodgson then. In towards the right-hander we go. Flipping that curve. Just understeer a little bit, but there's enough room there. Continue on through. We are up past Jamie then. Beautiful racing there once again as we continue towards lap 5 where we catch up to Eiffelman in the Jaguar. Oh, maybe it's a Jaguar early on. So just lose the rear end. I have to back out of that just to make sure that I don't hit them then. And through we go. We do get the run eventually there. Eiffelman did well to recover that. So fair play to you. Recovered that very nicely indeed. But we do get the position up into P10. Now we advance further on. A couple other people have pit. We've caught up to Zhuanki, who I didn't know whether I had pit or not. Although for those with good memories earlier on in the video, that's who I overtook earlier on in the race. So I should have realised and remembered they need to pit yet. They do need to pit. Now if you have a look at my tyres down in that bottom left hand side, they're not doing very well at the moment. Remember, I didn't change tyres. So a part of you, or some of you, may decide to change tyres and pit a little bit later on. You can do that. You may not want to change tyres because it saves you some time in the pit. You just stop and go. I don't know exactly how much it saves. It'll be 3 to 5 seconds in terms of time saved by not changing tyres. Oh, my lap times are falling drastically here, and maybe with fresher tyres, I could have caught up to these guys and actually overtaken them a bit easier as we go into the right-hander here then. So Zhuanki defending this very nicely indeed. We've got Bahamas Racing, who did just come out the pits earlier on, but that is your decision that you have to make, okay, whether you change tyres or not. So sometimes you'll not want to because you want to jump the traffic, and if they change tyres, you will jump them. Or you'll want to change tyres, and then hopefully they don't, and then you've got better tyres, and maybe you can overtake them that way. So you see Zhuanki there, just got it wrong down the exit. Very dangerous part of the circuit, that as well. Loads of danger at this circuit, and a few more people coming in the pits then as we go through this right-hander. Going to continue on out of here, hopefully going to get a good run on Zhuanki, and then I realised they're going in the pits, so I'm like, oh, okay, maybe they didn't need to defend that hard eventually. Oh, hello. Be careful of that on pit exit. Some people will get darted out there. It's just the way it is. That's where the racing line is as well. But we do get ahead of Thomas there, the French driver in the Megane. Of course they are. It's Renault, French. Of course. Right, so we've got Bahamas Racing up ahead, and we've got the final lap to do here. So through the right we go, and Bahamas is going to head off into the grass. Now, I knew they would have dirt on their tyres. This is the critical moment to make a move. going to head it in towards the right-hander. Now, I knew that I'd do it on the tyre, so I gave him a bit more space than normal. Unfortunately, they're just going to go a bit too deep there. They didn't mean that. Of course, they didn't mean that because they give me lots of space on the exit, but they're going to keep their position for now in that machine. So what I'm planning here is I'm like, okay, you're going to still have dirt on your tyres. It takes a few corners to get this right. So I'm going to try and force the issue here, and that's what I tried to do here. So you notice they understeer off, then they get it slightly wrong, and we're going to try and get through here as quick as we can, and we do that indeed. Now, it was a fairly safe rejoin, in fact, they'd already lost control and there's space on the exit, but we're going to come home in P3. Shelty in the Volkswagen, P1. In fact, we get P2 because somebody forgot to pit there. So make sure you read the rules, but you already know the rules because you've watched this video. Nice. Right, so we are going to do a lap guide for you. I'm not sure whether Shelty changed tyres or not. Maybe you can let us know in the comments because unfortunately I couldn't save the replay. Right, this lap guide, turn 1. On the left-hand side, you've got the barrier, goes into a dark section with an orange bit, and then the barrier again. I use that as my brake marker for turn 1, and it's a very good brake marker. So as that hits the edge of your screen, hit the brakes, as you see me do right here. Now, it's actually a later apex than you realise, and I mean, I didn't even hit it there, but that's your accelerating marker, okay? It's like a last lamppost as you go through the corner, you start to accelerate. You do want to hit the apex here. You do want to touch the curb, by the way. So as you touch the curb, that should be at the center of your screen, and you can boot it out. Now, it's not a necessity because it's my fastest lap, but it is better to do that. The curb will pull you around a little bit as well. Heading towards the kink then. It's the 50 board on the left-hand side, okay? Now, I found dropping a gear just helped with the turning a little bit. If you hit the curb in the wrong way, you're going to jump, okay? You're going to absolutely lift the front and go flying off. So it's a very hard corner to get right. But I use that 50 board, I brake third gear, through I go, and then I'm going to go up to fourth gear quite quickly. And just be careful on exit. We saw what happened with Bahamas earlier on. You just get dirt on your tyres and it'll ruin your lap. Heading towards the hairpin then, it's the start of the curb on the left-hand side. As that starts to leave the edge of your screen, that is when you're going to hit the brakes, okay? Now, you can V this or you can keep a tight line. Both work, to be fair. I kind of like the tighter line a bit more than the V shape, but it's entirely up to you. As I come into here, notice I'm trying to keep it tight as I go through here. And once again, I'm looking for that lamppost in the center of your screen, okay? When I see that, I can start to accelerate. I know I'm going to make the exit. You could use the exit curb because you can just see that on the right-hand side, but I'm looking for that little post there. When I see that, I just go for it because I know I'm going to make the corner in the Ferrari. Obviously, other cars, you may suffer a bit more understeer, so just judge it accordingly based on that. Right, a very dangerous corner now, the chicane. So as you come down here, you'll notice that yellow painted barrier there on the right. What I try and do is as I start to see that is when I start to slow up, okay? I'm starting to slow the speed down for the corner. I've already lifted off. I'm trying to go through this right-hander slow and steady now. And I want to brake in a straight line for the next part. Notice I'm going to brake a straight line now hard, go towards the left, through here. I drop a gear as well to try and get it turned in. You only full brake, 100% brake in a straight line on that chicane. Do it! As you turn, you're gonna fail and you're gonna crash. So it's one of those where you lift off early, settle the car, and brake 100%. This right-hander, before the edge of the curb there that I've highlighted, you're either going to lift off or slightly tap the brake. I'm going to slightly tap the brake in the Ferrari. Some cars can lift and just turn, which is nice. And I'm looking to stay above 100 miles an hour. So 102 there for me. I clip the curb near the very end there, and I know I can make the exit then. Just be careful of that, but stay above 100 miles an hour, and you should be fine. So there's a split or sector time then. Down the hill you go. So this first part, flat out. This second part will lift a lot more than you realise because you want to set yourself up for this part here. If you go too aggressive in that middle part, you're going to lose it on that part there. Now, for this last corner, what you're going to do is you're going to start to turn towards the curb. And you're going to want to go on the brakes quite hard, but not 100%. You're trail braking a little bit for this one, okay? So turn towards the curb. Brake and trail brake quite a bit, but not too much, and then start to turn in. There you go. I actually trail brake a bit more there than I needed to, but you want a hard brake there. Clip the curb, and then what you're looking for then is the billboard and the tree, okay? They're the two markers you can use as accelerating markers. Billboard, more in the center of the screen. The tree, as soon as you start seeing it, essentially. When you see either of those two, start to boot it around the corner. I'm on the curb as well, which drags me around a little bit. You can see how it dragged me around there. And you should make the corner, and you can head towards the line. And that is a lap of Yamagiwa reverse in a nutshell. That's it for Daily Race C. It's now time for the bloopers. Right, first up then. This was because of an apology I saw, and a slight tap there. Just bum drafting. All sorts going on wrong up ahead. Yeah, you can see that. The NSX just loses their rear end there of Inferno Fox. Very common to happen on the oval. I did speak about it in the race. Just the rear can go on you there. But does wait up for the driver, which is fair dues. Now, where does Shelty use the nitrous? Just after that Marshall box, about a quarter of the way round then. Does Shelty actually keep nitrous all the way to the end? That is the question in Timmy's slipstream here. as we continue on around then. Staying at 219. I can't believe we're near 300 mile an hour, to be honest, in a Mazda RX-7, but there we go. So through we go. So Shelty runs out now. Okay, so that Marshall box, looking like a key indicator as to when to use nitrous. Keep that in your back pocket there, folks. Right, turn 1. This is where I got hit. So Steven just completely outbrakes himself there. And yeah, goes into me there, unfortunately. Gives me room to come back on track, which is fine, as we go through the right-hander. And the game does a 3-second penalty, which seems a bit harsh to me, to be fair. A 1 second maybe, just because of where the penalty line is. Oh, it was Eiffel who hit... Well, they just got a bit wrong with the weight transfer there. So it was a Porsche that we overtook there. You can see us as we go by and trying to overtake 2 more. Right, that 4. We did sort of see the end of this. So into the braking zone we go. Oh, just a tiny bit too late on the brakes there was Dung Beetle. Lets them go, though. Notice how he lets them go. Just stays off the throttle and going to stay behind them as well as we continue on out of here. But again, 2-second penalty. Penalties are looking strong this week in Race B, which is good to see, you know, if there is a punt. But that is it for this guide. If you did enjoy it, give it a like. Subscribe to the channel to stay in touch with all the latest content. Beat the meta. Why I'm not A+ anymore is there. But, as I say, that is it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in another video or live stream again very soon.